This is an IKEA coat hanger, which in this video I'm going to re-engineer and rebuild. Let's take a look at it. What's wrong with it and what's this? Name tag that looks like this. And let's take a look at it. What's wrong with this coat hanger? Well, the hooks seem to be in perfect, intact condition. Same as this white piece of board on which the hooks are mounted. Nothing is discolored, nothing is delaminating, splitting, or disintegrating in any which way. This little bit of chipping is on the back side facing the wall. So, what's the deal here? Well, this coat hanger is made of pressed sawdust, known as medium density fiberboard, not exactly a material known for strength. And the hooks, yeah, you saw this one. Yeah, they are not exactly holding the hooks all right. Now, these two screws can be tightened in less than 10 seconds. So what's the big deal here? I don't like this white piece. It's not big enough. The hooks are too close together, which I guess works because in IKEA's line of business, everything is cost of shipping. So they want this as short and as narrow and as thin and as light as possible. But that doesn't make a good coat hanger. You can find and make a piece of coat hanger out of any piece of trash or wood, almost any, like I did. So where did this come from? Let me show you. A coat hanger can be made out of any waste wood that's pallet material with nail holes in it, or these ones here. Just have to find one that kind of lies flat. This one looks like it's not too bad. I saved this one for hooks, and yeah, it doesn't look much when we start. This is before sawing, planing, or sanding, but there. That's a board that's reasonably straight, and this can be easily made into a coat hanger. Yep, it's still gonna have the nail holes in it. So not surprisingly, this board has nail holes. Has, I don't know, maybe that was a pebble that was rolled into the surface while this was a pallet. More nail holes, gouge marks, the huge chunk missing from it. This is where the nail heads were and that never got painted. Yeah, so that's how this looks like. Obviously, this side is going to be facing the wall, and other than that, it's just ran through a router and a saw and made straight and flat and whatever. So on this, I made a layout, the faint lines. You can see the middle hook will be very simply just remounted here. The next hook will not be yay far away, it's gonna be this far away. You see the other layout line here, 9 inches away from the previous one, and 9 more inches away. There's my next layout line. So the 5 hooks, whose shape I really like. It's nice powder coated. What are the options here? Hospital hooks, which are kinda close to being the same size-ish. Let's see, how do I do this? Obviously smaller, but the radius of curvature is about the same and its reach is about the same. But 5 of these that cost very little money will not look as good as 5 of these hooks. So very simply, I'm gonna take them off, pre-drill the marked locations in the wood, and yeah, one screw got lost, so one is not black. I'm gonna fix that one or deal with that. Very simply just take the hooks off, put them on this white board. Right, that took an entire 45 seconds, including head scratching. I also dislike the size of the screws. Look at them, how tiny they are. And again, IKEA saves weight on everything. Now look at the length of this screw. It looks like it's, hey, half of it is in the coat hanger, half of it is in the wood underneath the coat hanger. That looks good on paper. However, building codes everywhere usually recommend, just everywhere, usually recommend when you're screwing and nailing things together that 2/3 of the screw's length or nail's length be in the material below what you are attaching to the material, yes? So 1/3 of the screw's length should be through the coat hook, and 2/3 of its length should be in the wood below. So this one, the original material, is kinda as thick as it gets, and the screw is as short as it gets, because IKEA doesn't want to add more thickness to this material. But I'm not IKEA, and I can make things thicker, just so the longer screws and bigger screws can be used the proper screws. Nobody in particular is asking, but let's just see how much everything weighs here. The coat hanger hooks seem to be 586 grams, a little more than a pound. It's okay. These will be mounted on the new coat hanger board, unchanged, that's fine. But the weight of the fasteners and the weight of the board will be different. The weight of this MDF piece is 381 grams. The weight of my coat hanger board is there, an elephant, 1,483 grams. 3 times as heavy and 3 times as useful. And the weight of these screws will be 9 grams of fasteners. Instead of any kind of black powder coated screws, I'm gonna go with these ones with a large pen head on them, and one section here that's unthreaded. It's gonna look like this. Isn't this made particularly for this thickness of coat hanger? 1/3, 2/3 or more sticking out to the other side. And of course, it's still not longer than the thickness of the material. This length of screw will still not be poking out on the other side, but even if it does, it is fairly microscopic. Yes, I could get shorter screws, shorter by a 1/4 inch, but anyhow, let's just see how much these weigh instead of IKEA's 9 grams. Oh yes, 3 times heavier. Okay, so my screw could be a 1/4 inch shorter, that's about this much, and it's still gonna be longer than the original IKEA screw. Also, I wanted to use these number 8 screws. So what's number 8 on this one? It's made of a thicker wire number 8. And this is a number 6 screw. This is just thinner wire. This is thicker wire when it starts out in the screw manufacturing place. Okay, number 6 screw, number 8 screw, stronger. Of course it weighs more. Let me show you a feature here that I'm ignoring. You see around this hole in the coat hanger material, there is a crater made into it so that the head of this screw, this is a flathead screw, would actually lie flat with the edge of the material. I'm not really looking for repeating that alignment. It's not weak, it's not strong, it's just aesthetic. So I'm gonna go with the pan head screw, which is gonna sit like so, ugly as it is. The number 8 flathead screw has a head that's larger than the original number 6 screw head. So if you upgrade your screw from number 6 to number 8, the number 8 screw head's crater is just bigger. So this will also not sit flush with the edge of the material. Of course, putting screws through wood needs pre-drilling the screw holes with the diameter of a drill bit that matches the thickness of the wire the screw is made out of, like so, yes. So the threads of the screw are on the outside of the drill bit, like so. So the screw threads bite into the wood without splitting the wood. And the screw heads, of course, need an appropriate screwdriver bit. This is Robertson number 2, or square number 2. Let's see how accurate my layout is. Oh yeah, both holes line up perfectly with the coat hanger. And of course, the coat hanger is perpendicular to the board, so it doesn't sit crooked once it's finished. Nobody wants a stupid coat hanger like this. There. Now, pre-drilling is not rocket science. Hold the drill bit perpendicular both ways, this way as well as this way, and drill to some depth, clear the wood chips, drill some more. Yes, it's going slowly, 3-4 times, and I'm going all the way through the wood. Just because the drill can spin at whatever thousands of RPMs, it doesn't mean that that speed should be used for wood. Quite the contrary. Drill slowly, clear the chips. It's just like having a car. Just because your car can do hundreds of kilometers an hour speed, it doesn't mean you're speeding through a playground zone. Yeah, this variable speed drill can do 1300 RPMs. Not needed. The 1300 RPMs is for removing screws, not for drilling into wood. So obviously that's how the holes look like. Some of them line up with the nail heads or very nearly, all the way through. Okay, let's look at the damage in the wood here. I think I want to obviously have this damaged part down, not up, and this one behind the door. I'll show you the place. And so the top edge would be the almost intact edge, and so the hooks are going on in this orientation. That's a kind of important decision. And make sure they all are pointed the same way. That helps. All right, let's have a look at it. Can you see the screws tip? Yeah, it is not catching on my skin. Yeah, so 1/4 inch shorter it is. Yeah, all of them. There, the layout worked. The coat hangers line up. None of them are crooked and all are pointing the same way. So for mounting it into the wall, of course, I have the same 1/3, 2/3 rule for the length of fastener. So either one of these will work, even the shorter one. 1/3 is in the thickness of the material and 2/3 of it is in the wall. In the wall and in the stud. Now, because this is a steel stud wall with all of these little green markers showing the screw locations in the stud, it needs to be a screw, in this particular case, with a fine thread to go into a steel stud. So wherever it's going, somewhere here, it's gonna go through steel stud. So this is the length and this is the screw thread type that should be used for putting this on the wall. So the coat hanger is gonna go here between the mirror and the doors, open doors edge there at about this height level. And I have 3 sets of studs, 1, 2, and the third one here that I can hit with 6 screws, 2 each, something like that. This is not coming off the wall. Once it's got 6 screws in it of the length and the thread type I've shown you. Now, how to do this layout here on the wall, how to find the studs that will actually hold the item securely, is in another video. Make sure to check it out.